Uja. Osio. Welcome. I think I might get this a little closer. Uja. If you are going to stick around, please tap the screen. That helps TikTok know that we're here, and it lets other people know to come join us. I don't really like asking people to tap the screen. It makes me feel kind of weird. But it really does make a difference. It really helps. So I want to thank you for tuning in. Uh-oh, what did I just do? Tuning in to Good Rising TV. My name is Xi Amaru, aka Meri Neterian Nations, and I just recently started going live again. I've been really inspired. I've seen so many wonderful content creators, and I just had to start again. So I've got 3 days. I'm going live Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. That way I get to cover my favorite topics. Tuesdays, we're talking about TaMeriKan. Wednesdays, Wellness Wednesdays, and Thursdays, Kemetic Devotion. And so you might be wondering, what is TaMeriKan? TaMeriKan is the name that people that are coming into the awareness of our history and our culture, our nationality, are using this name. I think it's a blend of TaMeri, which is the Neterian or the Kemetic name for this continent. Xi Amaru, AmaruKha. Those are some of the names that have been coming up. And so TaMeriKan it combines all of them in one way or another. And so I decided to start going live so we could talk about these different topics. I noticed that a lot of people are angry that we're coming into this awareness, that it's a known fact that Black or melanated people were the first people on every continent, and why we think we'll be different on this continent is baffling. And so who were those people? They were the people that have been reclassified as first American Indian, then colored, then Negro, then Black, then African American, then Afro-American. Now we're going by melanated. I'm one of the people that stopped identifying as Black because after years of one of my good friends talking to me, I realized that Black is not a nationality, it's not a place, it's a construct. It's a construct. So when you come here, we'll be able to talk about these topics. And, Uja, Good Rising, Great Awakenings on YouTube channel. So one of the things that I want to do with this work, because this is, it's like my research project, is the Sirius and Galactic Cultures of the Four Directions. And this is a symbol from the Lakota Nation, the medicine wheel, where it identifies the 4 races that we've been identifying with. And it doesn't necessarily have to represent a race, because this represents the 4 aspects of being in the 4 elements. So it doesn't necessarily mean this is our race. It just is the color that was used for this symbol. So in the Hopi prophecy states that in these times, the indigenous people of the 4 directions will come together, July English, come together and share the wisdom teachings of their direction. Because if you just have, I call this the spiral dance medicine wheel. The people of the north have the gift of fire. The people to the east have the gift of air or the mind. People to the south, the gift of water. People to the west, the gift of the earth and the body. And so you have to bring them all together, all the wisdom teachings together, and we'll have the truth. So what's going on in the world today is people that are classified as African American or Black are coming into the awareness that the majority of us were already here. That yes, there were some people from Africa that were brought here on ships to be slaves, work as slaves. However, the Aboriginal, you call them Aboriginal, people that were already here were also captured and enslaved. And I was on a live with a woman from Pacific Islands, and she said that her people were also captured and brought here. Good rising, happy Dia de los Muertos. That's right, we're going to talk about that in just a minute. We're also brought here and enslaved. So not everyone that is here now that's melanated was brought here on slave ships. Many of us were already here. So that is the foundation of TaMeriKan Tuesdays. We're coming with the perspective that we're here. Yes, some of us are mixed. And the most important thing is humanity. It's not, are you black, are you white, are you yellow, are you red, are you mixed? The issue is, are you human? And how do you express your humanity in your life? I have not heard those ways for self-identity as Black African American. So I'd love to hear about that. Hail Satan. Well, no, actually that is not what we are practicing here. In the Neterian tradition, the cosmic force of nature known as Set, which is where the term Satan and devil came from, represents the cosmic force of egoism. And anyone that's inflicted with the fetters of Set is following their ego. It is not following their spirituality or their divinity. So you're absolutely right, though. The time of year we're going to be talking about today a little bit is, this is the spiral dance. In addition to showing the directions and the different types of human beings, it's also a calendar. It has the 4 main holy days of nature, the winter solstice and the summer solstice, and then we also have the fall equinox and the spring equinox. And what you may not know about is that in this way of life, we also observe the mid-seasons. And we have the middle of spring, the middle of fall, the middle of summer, and the middle of winter. And we are in the season called the middle of fall. And during the middle of fall is when the portal, the doorway between the realm of the living and the realm of the dead is open. And it's the strongest time to communicate with your ancestors. In Mexico, this is called Dia de los Muertos. And to the people of the north, it's called All Hallows Eve. In West, you celebrate Halloween. That's why this person greeted me with the fact that he follows his ego. So anyone that's following their ego, then they have a certain karma and a certain frequency. And at TaMeriKan, this culture that we're building, the nation that we're in the position to build, we do not follow Western imperialism. We do not follow Caucasity. We do not follow any traditions that came to us when the invaders arrived. So back to Dia de los Muertos. On Dia de los Muertos is the time when the veil between the realm of the living and the dead is open. And it's a wonderful time to communicate with your ancestors, to honor them, to remember them. And the days preceding All Hallows Eve, October 31st, or Dia de los Muertos, November 1st and 2nd, I think it's also known as All Saints Days. This is the time to give your home, your space, your body temple a thorough cleansing, so that on the Dia de los Muertos, when your ancestors come, they'll feel welcome, because the space will be cleansed of toxic spirits or energies, and also your body. Your body is a temple. So this time between now and October 31st is the time to do a thorough cleansing. And you also use botanicas and different herbs. After you dust and sweep and mop, and then you apply these different herbal rinses, and you recite prayers or intentions or affirmations, or you can chant or you can sing, and you do that. You can have different formulas to welcome in prosperity or abundance, or if you have a business to attract new customers, or if you're seeking harmony in your relationships, to seek harmony, whatever it is, you bring that into the space. And then you also do fasting and prayers, so that on All Hallows Eve or Halloween or Dia de los Muertos, your space and your body temple are ready to receive the good vibrations from your ancestors. We seem to have little comments over here. Acknowledging that we Black folks have our own culture, ethnicity, soul food. Oh, okay. Well, actually, there's a lot of people that are moving away from the term African American because they know for a fact that their ancestors are from here. They're not African. And a lot of people, when they get very emotional and angry about this topic, I think it's because they're confusing race and nationality. And if we're building a culture or a nation that's going to bring people together and also honor their autonomy and their culture and heritage, then we have to change the words that we use. So like Black and African American are terms that we're moving away from. So you're saying another term is Sulaan or Sultan. Okay. So that is, I don't know what culture that comes from, what tradition that comes from. It's important to me to use words that are from this continent because this is where we are. It's not a religious word. It's not connected to the three major religions of the world, which are from Western imperialism. So the idea is to use terms that are indigenous to this land and predate the colonizers, the missionaries, the pirates, and the institutions. So it's about reclaiming the culture that was already here and learning how to use it as a tool. It's not just, in the Neterian tradition where you follow the Neters, you use the cosmic forces of nature to create and to manifest. And so we're learning how to use those tools here. So it's important to acknowledge our Black heritage and our African heritage, but then again, there's many people that don't have this African heritage because the part of that unites us when you say Black or melanin, that existed before the term Africa. That, I believe, at one time it was one continent, and then it broke apart into different pieces. And we have the main pieces represented by this diagram, but they're not African at that point. They're wherever they are. Good rising, great awakenings. Winette Louise Elua Efua Maati. It's nice to know you. I haven't gone live on YouTube in a very long time. My YouTube setup was so complicated that it just made it really difficult. So I just stopped doing that. I hope you can hear me clearly. This is a very simple setup. And I've also stopped offering just the music and the sound healing. I'm trying to, my goal now is to build community and have conversations, and I will start offering the sound healing and music again very soon, but it'll be in a different way. It'll be like a subscription for people who are already really interested in it instead of people who are just coming in and out. So that's what's going on with the with my platform and everything. So if you've come here looking for devotional music, that'll be coming soon. Right now we're just discussing these wonderful topics, which is what the music is about. I don't know if you've noticed in my music, it's always about spiritual teachings from the 4 directions. I've been on this journey for, oh my goodness, my daughter's 37, almost 40 years. I've been on this journey of studying the wisdom teachings of the traditions of the 4 directions. But in that time, my understanding was the reason that I'm quote unquote a black native is because I had Native American and African ancestry. And now it's coming out more and more and more that we were already here. That the black melanated people were already here, and that the term Native American, I think, was created in like 1740. Up until then, it was AmaruKha. And like people are always asking, where did that term AmaruKha come from? Like American Vespucci or something like that. But it actually is the name of what this continent was. And for those of you that are tuning in on TikTok, if you're going to stay for a while, I'd really appreciate it if you would tap the screen. And if you'd like to come on and speak, just let me know in the chat and I will add you in. I was inviting random people, and then I realized some of them wanted to play a game. So I don't do that anymore, but I would love for you to join. And so if you could just tap the screen, you know, that would really help the live stream. It lets people know that we're here trying to have these important conversations. All right, so we talked a little bit about the holy day that's coming up, the natural holy day, Dia de los Muertos, All Hallows Eve. Is coming up on October 31st. That's the time to really do a thorough cleansing of your home, your space, maybe do some fasting. What is this? Oh, more comments. Uh-oh. I don't know what's going on here. Oh, I see, there's more comments. Happy Hoodoo Month. Yeah, there's lots of terms for this. Oh, I'm just now seeing your comments here. Oh, okay. Thank you. Yes, it's very important to know your tribe and heritage and to move away from constructs of Western imperialism that limit us to race or to places that we're not really from. Like they were allowed to label us, and now we're beginning to identify ourselves. And I know that people in Africa or people of African origin are angry because we're doing this, and we're not doing this to make anyone angry or to take anything away from Africa, but we have to acknowledge all the things that have come from this continent as well, especially in modern times. The inventions, the music, culture, food, everything became so focused on America, and the reason America is so great is because of its Aboriginal American peoples. I mean, that's that's really why it is. You're calling us African and American, but we have no way to identify who we really are. The Booby tribe. Oh, I don't know where the Booby. Oh wait, you were telling me about your lineage. I believe you are from the South, Southern United States. I'm not familiar with Booby. Yeah, it's really wonderful to get into your tribal heritage and culture and tradition. And I wanted to also state that I believe that this conversation or this live stream platform is particularly for those of us who were born here in the Turtle Island, northern TaMeriKan, and we know that we have indigenous ancestors. We have, some of us knew our great-grandmothers and great-grandfathers were very well. I've met some people who say their family never left their land. They didn't go to the reservation. So, and then also, in my case, I do have one relative that is from Nigeria. So I do have African roots. But that was just one person recently during the slavery times. So I really feel strongly connected to this place. And when you go to some communities, they just call us mixed. It's, oh, well, you're mixed, blah, 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 blah. However, the majority of the TaMeriKan Aboriginal descendants are mixed. So there's going to have to be a place for people like us too, because I also have European ancestry because of the slavery trade. One of my great-grandfathers was Henri Jean-Baptiste, a French, good rising, great awakenings, a French slave plantation owner in New Orleans. One of the most famous ones is one of my ancestors. And I remember when I first came into this knowledge, at that time it was in 1990, 93, 94, I've gotten into Rastafari and Black Hebrew Israelites. I was a Garveyite. Thank you for tapping. Thank you for the love. If you are on TikTok and you're going to stay a while, please consider tapping the screen. And anytime you're on someone's live, there's a little orange heart at the top. If you tap that heart, you join their team, and it helps the content creators so much. But anyway, back at that time, and if you'd like to join the conversation, please leave a comment and I'll invite you in. I'm no longer just randomly inviting people in because some of them want to play games, the match games. Yeah, but at that time, I was so angry at Western imperialism and caucasity and just white people in general. I had lots of white friends, and I didn't have problems with them, but I had a problem with the, oh, thank you for the gift. I had a problem with the construct. And I had just found out about I had white ancestors. I knew I had German, who married a black Cherokee woman. And I knew about the European, but I didn't know he was the most famous, one of the most famous slave plantation owners. And so these are my pinhole glasses so I can see the little letters on the screen. And so I developed sty. I've told this story last week. I developed sty on my eyes. Starting here, then here, then here, then here, then here, then back over here. It took 2 years for that sty. And I was hanging out with this sister who hated white people as much as me. And we would stay up and talk all night about how much we hated white people. And then I started listening to the Hopi prophecies about the indigenous people of the Four Directions coming together, and the Lakota medicine song, the Four Directions song, which, so it has the seasons, and then it also represents the 4 aspects of being: body, mind, soul, spirit. And so I just started really getting into this medicine wheel, and I realized that I had white ancestors, and that 1 or 2 of them may have been slave plantation owners. But before that, they were just people living in France. And if I was hating them, I was hating a part of myself. And so I had to really heal that. And I realized that I don't hate people. I don't hate them. I hate the construct. There's people that are darker than me that have a white soul. They're just totally into caucasity. They're just not interested in being how they appear. And a lot of times it's because of our karma, our past lives. We don't really know that, you can know, but most of us don't know what our past life was. And there's no guarantee that in a past life I was melanated. I could have been white, I could have been Asian, could have been African. You don't know. And when you're seeing a person, you're looking at their skin tone, but you don't know their soul. You don't know what they really are about. And so that's why this teaching is so healing for me, because there are indigenous people of the Four Directions, and there are people that don't agree with Western imperialism and caucasity, and we need to work with people like that. So I just went on a rant there. The Bubi tribe is on an island off the coast of Nigeria and Cameroon. She has white ancestors too. I'm a direct descendant of Robert E. Lee, who was a general for the Confederate during the Civil War. That is amazing. That is really amazing. An Asiatic African on both sides of this I family. Yes, we all have such fascinating lineage and history, and one reason why I'm stepping out on this platform is because I believe in it so much, that we need to come together as human beings, not based on our skin tone, not based on our tribe, not based on our race, but on our humanity. Invite I am. Okay, so once again, if you want to be a guest on this panel, just leave me a comment and I'll invite you to join, but I'm not randomly inviting people because you might want to play games. So if I don't invite you, don't take it personal, and in the future I will have multi-guest streaming when I know how to do that. How to do that more. Okay. Constance. All right, so that is an amazing history. Yeah, one of my stories is my great-grandmother, was it my great? It was Teresa or Annabelle. I'm not sure if it was Teresa or Annabelle, but she was a Cherokee woman, or black Cherokee woman, that was enslaved, and she was being sold at an auction. And my great-great-grandfather, who was free, I think he's the one that was from Nigeria that came here to fight in the Civil War to free the black people. He saw her being auctioned off, bought her, and married her. And so that is one of my ancestral stories. So anyway, this TaMeriKan nation that is coming together, it has to be a nation that embraces that experience that so many of us had, most of us had this experience, because we went through slavery. The people that are here now, their ancestors survived slavery and the Trail of Tears. And some of them were slave owners. And so whatever culture comes from this awareness of people coming into the fact that the first people on this continent were black or melanated, and that the Native Americans came later, that term wasn't here until 1740. It has to acknowledge that. It has to acknowledge that the first people were black. It has to acknowledge that. It has to acknowledge that most of us are mixed now. Even if you go on a reservation, the majority of the people on the reservation are mixed. They're mixed with white. They're mixed with Europeans. And I know for a fact that the colonizers, they set up places where they bred so-called white Indians. They captured Native American women and they were raped over and over again, and their children were conditioned to be white Indians, and then they were placed on tribal councils around Turtle Island. It's a fact. So anybody talking about nation building in Turtle Island or the entire continent, North, Central, and South, TaMeri, AmaruKha, Xi Amaru, TaMeriKan, it has to embrace this. You cannot go around saying, oh, well, you're mixed. My ancestry is pure and you're mixed. Because if we're doing that, then we're just repeating the same thing. Yes, so many indigenous people have lost all of their melanin. Yes, and we have to honor and respect that as well. It can't be exclusive. The only thing, to me, that will warrant or determine if someone is a member of this nation is the quality of their heart and their mind and their words and their actions. And we have to remember that this continent, another name for it is TaMeri. It has a Kemetic connection. We can go on forever back and forth. Well, it was here first. Well, it was there first. Well, the mound builders, well, the pyramid builders, were this, were this. It's all of that. It's all of it. The story that I learned is that this culture extended across North, Central, and South America. And then there was a civil war. And then some people went to where we know of Kemet today. I'm going to say they went back or they went there. You know, I don't know which was first. In my heart, it was all one continent and then it split up. So it's hard to say which one was first. All I know is that it exists. It still exists. And so we have to find a way to be together. Not maybe come together every day, but we have to be able to be together long enough to defeat Western imperialism. And that's really what it's all about for me. I've been on a few of these live streams where there's so much hatred for Europeans and so much hatred for Africa. Like, how can you hate Africa? Even if you have proof that none of your ancestors were from Africa, they were here. There's no reason to hate. And, you know, corn or maize, as I say, the corn is GMO. It was maize. It doesn't look like the plant today. I get it. I still love corn, okay? I can't prove if it was here first or if it was there first. All I know is it's there. Can't we just celebrate that? Do we have to argue? Where did the corn come from? What about the sweet potato? What about the pumpkin? What about the squash? What about the watermelon? I really can't tell you where it was first. I don't have proof, and I don't think that's the most important thing we need to be studying. Where did it come from? When I was in Oklahoma, it was so strange to be around all these white indigenous people. The colorism there was too much for me. It's like they want to be indigenous, but don't want any dark features. Oh yes, me too. I've experienced it with, I lived on an Indian reservation in Northern California. I still have my house there, but I'm living here in my family building. But anyway, and I told this story last week. I was helping run a soccer team on this Indian reservation. It's called a checkerboard reservation, where like some of the original people sold their land, and then now people like me or other people live near the reservation. But anyway, I was running the soccer team, and I went to the tribal leader to get her application for her grandson. And she was one tribe, so I guess her daughter was one tribe, and her son-in-law was another tribe. And she was like, oh, I hate to have to put that name there. I hate to have to put that tribal name there. Because this Round Valley Indian Reservation, they forced 13 tribes to live together in a valley. So you can imagine the colorism and the tribalism that goes on. And it's so sad. And then they turn around and celebrate Thanksgiving because they get free food from the, commodities. So it's really messed up. And so that's another thing. In this circle, in this tribe, in this medicine wheel, in this village of TaMeriKan, because I realized that we're not all in the same tribe. There's going to be TaMeriKan and then different tribes. Because I don't resonate with some of the people that are talking. I don't resonate. If you're coming to my medicine wheel or my circle or this temple space, Western imperialism is not welcome. It's not tolerated. That's one of the things that we have to detox ourselves from. We have to decolonize our minds, our hearts, our traditions, our ways, and we need to head back to being human. Because human beings who are conscious, like beings having a human experience, do not voluntarily pollute the earth. They don't do that. Good rising, great awakenings. Thank you for tuning in. If you'd like to join the conversation, just let me know. I no longer invite people in randomly because they might want to play games. And so I'm going to get better at having more people on, but right now I'm just running my mouth and responding to your comments. So good rising. Yeah, so those type of behaviors aren't going to be welcome in this community or tribe or whatever, because that's why I call this nation building, because I'm looking for people who are interested in actually nation building in TaMeriKan. Okay, now I don't know this person. I think this is the young man. I invited him last time, and he wanted to do a A match. Oh man, I thought I don't want to do the match. So, just here having conversation. But thank you. Well, I'm glad you're staying. Yeah, we're talking about the medicine wheel and this culture here for this continent, North, Central, and South America. The term that we're using moving forward is TaMeriKan, because it recognizes, like I said, there's no room for Western imperialism in this space. So anyone from those three major religions or the Moors or anything, this is not that space. This is for people who want to build a nation based on spirituality and culture that's indigenous. Yes, okay, so the northern hemisphere is Turtle Island. Yes, north. But Mexico and South America do not call, it's not called Turtle Island. The name that unites the entire continent is Xi Amaru, AmaruKha, or TaMeriKan. And I'm using TaMeriKan because it honors TaMeri, which is the Neterian name or the Kemetic term for this continent, because at one time it was one, and now we have Kemet and TaMeri. But when you want to express the indigenous aspect of TaMeri, that would be TaMeriKan. So I appreciate you bringing out the Turtle Island aspect, because yes, up north, in Northern America, the United States of AmaruKha and Canada are referred to as Turtle Island. But we're wanting to unite the entire continent so we can come together and defeat Western imperialism. Not by bickering over who was first, or who's best, or who's more melanated, or whose blood is purer, but as human beings, descendants of the Aboriginal people of this entire continent. That's my passion. And to bring forward the spirituality of TaMeri, showing how, like, for example, the Olmec and the Mayan pyramids, yes, uniting the world is what matters. And so I'd like to start with this continent. The last time I studied Kemet intensely for 13 years. And if you look at my recent music and content, it was all Kemetic, because I was totally absorbing it, like completely. And I became a chantress. I had never heard of a chantress, but now I'm a Neterian chantress. I no longer use the term Kemetic, because that pinpoints you to one geographical location and time. And all the indigenous people of the four directions follow the Neters, the gods and goddesses, the cosmic forces of nature. So we're building a Neterian tradition that embraces the indigenous Aboriginal people of this continent. That's the goal of TaMeriKan Tuesdays. And I know I just rambled a little bit there, I'm sorry. But you just joined in, so I wanted you to know what I was talking about. But also back on the YouTube channel, that's part of my ancestry, Lakota. My ancestry includes people that went to Mississippi, the Lakota, like when the massacre happened for the Lakota Nation. Some people went to Canada, and some actually went to Mississippi. Yes, some of us went to Mississippi. It's called the Saponi. And I'm not exactly sure if we're the Blackfeet or the Blackfoot, but yes, there is a contingent of Black Lakota people in Mississippi. You can say they were mixed with Black, or you can say they were already Black, because the Aboriginal people of this continent were Black or melanated. But I'm not stressing on that. I'm just saying that there were some that went to Mississippi, and then my lineage came to Chicago after, she went through a lot. My grandmother was considered triracial. She had Lakota facial features, very fair skin, and then really coarse red, quote unquote, black hair. So she was a very striking woman, but you could definitely see the Lakota coming through. They say the bags under my eyes. Like, I've had several Lakota people come to me say that I'm Lakota, and then on my mother's side, well, on my mother and my father's side, I have Cherokee, but on my mother's side, I have a lot of Cherokee, and we're always talking about these cheekbones. So yes, I have also experienced that with some Lakota and also the Round Valley Indian Reservation. They were talking about the colorism that exists within the quote-unquote Native American community. Here, that's another topic. I've been studying some of the cheekbones, yeah. I've been studying with some of the teachers on TikTok, and they're the ones that get very angry and they have a lot of hatred. But I do appreciate the knowledge that they share, so I just tune in when I can. And one of them was talking about the green corn. I'm changing subjects here right now. I'm just like, woo, changing subjects. This is one of the things I wanted to talk about, though, so I'm talking about it. The green corn god, because this is the heart of my research project. Oh, I remember what I was saying. The last time I was in Kemet, they told me it was time to go back to my original project and show the connection between Kemet and TaMeri, but from a spiritual and cultural perspective. And that's what I'm hoping to be a part of building here. I was saying inclusive to people like me that are triracial. I may even have Asian, because I have a photograph of my great-grandfather when he was young, and there was a youngster from the Philippines visiting, and they looked almost the same. So it's possible that I even have Asian ancestry, and I'm proud of my humanness. I'm not. That's just it. But anyway, he was talking about the green corn god, or the maize god, from the Mayan Olmec tradition, and how it's connected to Asar. And I was like, that is so true, because Asar is referred to as the green god. The maize god, he has maize growing out. I'm trying to say maize instead of corn, out of his head. And Asar is shown with plants growing out of his body. They say it's wheat, vegetation. So that's going to be my first deep dive into the correlation between these two traditions. A little bit more about my background. I have a degree in physics from Oberlin College, and then I went to UT Austin to study astronomy in graduate school. I was studying galactic astronomy with the Gerard and Antoinette de Vaucouleurs, and my plan was to be the first Black female astronaut. And unfortunately, I befriended Neil deGrasse Tyson, who was also a grad student there. He was like my big brother. We were the only melanated people in the program. And he slipped me a Mickey one day and assaulted me, and I didn't know about Mickeys, and I dropped out. And then I went back to grad school a few years later. Well, after that I dropped out, someone introduced me to Sirius, and I got the idea to go back and study Sirius and pyramids. And I went back to them, and they said, oh, you'll be laughed out of the program if you say you want to study Sirius. They told me to go downstairs and study with the planetary astronomer, and he told me to go, this was at UT Austin, he told me to go to the Latin American Studies art department, because Linda Sheely, the Mayan expert, the Mayan hieroglyphic expert, was, reigning, she was the queen. So I went to meet her, and she was really excited about meeting an astronomer who wanted to study the Mayan culture, the Olmec culture. And so I went and I studied with her for a semester, and I realized that what she does is she writes books based on her grad students' research, and then she became famous. And I didn't want to do that, so I withdrew and started studying it on my own. I started with the Queen Mu and the Egyptian Sphinx, and I went from there. And I studied Horace Butler's book, When Rocks Cry Out, and all those books back in those days. I know there's more out now. And then I went on a journey to visit Mexico, Peru, Brazil, Ecuador, and Belize. And then I started going to Kemet. I'm so glad I'm talking about corn. I've been talking so much about corn and how, oh, I'm glad you never liked Neil Tyson. Yeah, I didn't mean to just drop it on you, but that's my story, and I'm trying to get more comfortable talking about it because I'm a healer, and I want to be able to help people heal from assault, and I have to be able to just talk about my assault without feeling guilty about mentioning his name because he needs to be brought down. Anyway, that is how I got, I guess if he hadn't have done that to me, I might have become an astronaut and gotten blown to bits in outer space. So sometimes I try to, be okay with how my life changed so drastically. However, this work is so important to me. And like I said, it's not about the tribe or who's first. It's about the Milky Way galaxy and Sirius. That's basically what it's about for me, is the calendar that we follow. And I usually save this topic for Wellness Wednesdays, where we talk about astrology. However, it is part of the medicine wheel, and I'm going to talk about that for a few minutes, about the cosmology that I learned when I was studying with Linda Sheely about the Olmec. Oh my goodness. Constance Woo Woo. Okay, I'm going to read her comment. First, she said, she's so sorry that you were essayed. I've never, ever liked Neil Tyson. And then she says, she also studies astronomy and astrology, that I'm the one who got her into sidereal astrology. And she's looking to go deeper into astrology. And she found my channel. And she thinks naming your abuser is powerful decolonizing magic. Ashe. Yes, it is. I could talk so much about my healing journey, but that's for Wellness Wednesdays. So today I'm going to talk a few minutes about the Mayan Olmec cosmology and how excited I am that that content creator was talking about the green maize god and the connection to Asar, because to me that is the, how when you start a race and they bring the flag down and you start running, that was the flag for me, because I didn't really know where to begin. There's so much, right? The Mayan Olmec wisdom. And when I was trying to work with Horace Butler, who turned out to be another pervert, he said I would be the first black Olmec Mayanist. This was like 20 years ago. And I'm sure there's one out now. I've only seen a few on TikTok, and they're mostly just really angry. I don't see them like trying to use the knowledge to help the people. So that's where my platform will be different. It's all about how we can, people don't want to say come together. I'm trying to get to this point right here. So yes, how we can come together and move forward. Because we're not supposed to just repeat this over and over. It's supposed to be a spiral. We're supposed to be like ascending or becoming better or, preparing for our death or, becoming enlightened. And those guys are just going round and round and round, bickering. So the Olmec calendar, the Mayan calendar, first of all, they call them the Mayan number system. I got my little thing here to take notes. The Mayan numerical system, but when they discovered the Mayan numerical system, they also discovered the Olmec heads. So that means it's Olmec calendar and an Olmec numerical system. Right? So I'm just going to show off a little bit. I know the numbers. That's all I know right now. And the thing is, it's so similar to the Kemetic number system. See if I can remember. So 1, 2, can you see this? Yeah. 2, and then it goes 3, 4, and then 5 is this. 10. And then of course 6 and 7. There's 6, 7, 8, 9, and then you colored in. And 10 is 2 bars. And that's really all I don't know the other ones yet. I keep a calendar downstairs in my space. So maybe next time we'll talk about that more, the Mayan number system and all that. Yeah. And so their calendar, I don't know if you're familiar with it, it has it's based on 13 and 20. Actually, they have two calendars. They have one for like secular, for like business, and then they have their spiritual calendar. And I haven't talked about it in a long time, so I'm going to make a note to be ready with that next time. But the 13 and the 20, right, and then multiply, that's 260. The Mayan, the Olmec calendar is based on the Milky Way galaxy. It's not based on the sun or the moon. It's galactic. It's a 260 year, it's a 26,000 year cycle, right? And they have records of it going back even farther, like 260,000 years. Their calendar is based on how long it takes for one revolution of the Milky Way galaxy. Now, in 2012, our solar system moved into the plane of the Milky Way galaxy. And that was really exciting for me. I was just like, ooh. In fact, that's the year that the Asumataji temple was formally initiated, was during the winter solstice of 2012. Right now I'm jumping all over, so I'm sorry. So the Mayan calendar is galactic. My studies have shown that all the indigenous calendars have 13 months, and then 1 week is only 5 to 7 days long, okay? So the Mayan or the Olmec calendar is galactic. The Dogon calendar from Mali is a Sirius sidereal calendar. It has 12 months with 1 month, 5 to 7 days long. The Mayan calendar, their 7-day period is in July. That's when they have the new year. The Sirius Dogon calendar, the 7-day or 5-day period is in September. That one follows Sirius. Then we have the solar sidereal calendar, which at Haduscopes, I invented Haduscopes. That is also a 13-month calendar, and 1 week of 7 days is in the 7 days, and the solar sidereal calendar is in November. And then the Neterian calendar has its 7-day week in July. The Neterian calendar is when Sirius first begins to rise, and then the Dogon Sirius calendar is when Sirius is visible everywhere. So this is what's most important to me. Did I mention all those different traditions that have the 13-month calendar? We have the galactic calendar. Oh, and then the lunar calendar is also 13-month calendar because there's 13 moons in the year, not 12. And why is that? Because there's 13 constellations along the ecliptic. Okay, so now if I go any further, I'll be going into the Wednesday subject. But I just wanted to introduce the notion that the Mayan calendar and the Mayan numerical system are actually Olmec. And who are the Olmec? The Olmec were the black Aboriginal people of that area. We're going to find out that there were black Aboriginal people everywhere. And so that's what TaMeriKan is about for this Chantras. We're studying these cultures. And I meant to bring my Mayan calendar dish, but I've been renovating my house and I couldn't find it. I don't know if you've seen it. I'll have it next time. I'll make a note to myself. Mayan calendar and numerical numbers. Yeah, that'll be fun. Because that's really what we want to do as a comparison. Because I've also been learning how to write the numbers the way they do in Mali, the Dogon number system. So, back to what I was saying. The Olmec calendar, it has the 13, it has 20, it has a ring of 20, let's see, over here. 20, this is not a very good circle. 20 different glyphs on the, let me start over. 20 glyphs on the outside, and then 13 on the inside. Lost my nail again. Today. Okay. Let's see it here. Oh, it's on here. So it has an outer circle with 20 glyphs, and then another one with 13 inside. I don't know if I can do this justice, but I'm not even gonna try. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Let's see. Okay, good. And then on here it'll be 20. And so the way the calendar moves is one dial moves one way, the other dial moves another way, and then you get the 260 days in their year. But it's a galactic calendar. So we'll be studying that a little bit more. My body is definitely connected to a 13-month calendar because these European months, oh yeah, the European month system is not for me either. Not at all. That's why I switched to this galactic calendar, or at least the Sirius calendar. The Sirius calendar from the Earth Center is based on the ancient Egyptian or Kemetic or Neterian principle, or a week, and I don't even like to call it week, I call it strength, is 10 days long with 2 days of rest in each strength, each 10-day week. And then each month is 3 weeks long, 30 days. And then you have that 5-day month for when Nut gives birth in September. And since I've been following that calendar, I feel a lot better. I really do. And I follow the solar sidereal calendar, which is based on the zodiac signs along the ecliptic for the sun. And I don't follow the lunar calendar so much because it changes every few days. And, you know, it's kind of stressful for me to keep up with it every day. I do like to do full moon sound baths or sound showers. You know, I like to do that. But I prefer the galactic calendar. So what I want to do is get back into that. I have to admit, I got away from my Mayan studies because I learned that the people of the North that I was studying with, European descendants that I was studying with, they admitted that they learned that their teacher that they had been studying with had made up everything that he'd been teaching. And this young couple had been making lots of money for years, holding workshops, teaching classes, doing readings, etc. And they admitted that it was all a lie, and they just went and got regular jobs. And their announcement came the same day. Oh gosh, what's his name? Oh, I can't even remember his name. The guy that created the Dream Spell. Remember the Dream Spell calendar? When that came out, that was the European version of the Mayan calendar. And he just took the world by storm, and everybody just followed the Dream Spell. They forgot about the Olmec calendar. And this guy was making millions. And I gotta remember their names for next week. I'm gonna make my next something note. I think that would be fun to talk a little bit about that. But anyway, they announced that they were abandoning their Mayan studies the same day that the guy that founded Dream Spell died. And I thought that was a sign. So, oh, next time I study the Olmec, it's going to be from an Olmec person. Good rising, Great Awakenings. Oh, it's Nitra the Conqueror. Okay, this is somebody that I know. So if she wants to join me, she should join. Yeah, and thank you for tapping the screen, for showing love. All right, here's one of my wonderful sister friends from TikTok. How are you doing today?
Excellent. How are you? Rise in excellence.
Yes, I'm rising in excellence, raising the vibrations. Yeah. Having a wonderful day. How's the weather out there in New York?
It's really nice. Beautiful fall morning, well, rising. Beautiful fall rising, lots of sun. It's not too chilly. It's really nice. You can see people's outfits.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's always nice. Yeah, it seems like it's going to be a beautiful day today. I actually went swimming in Lake Michigan yesterday. It was like 77 degrees outside, and the water was probably like 60 degrees, and I felt so good. Oh my gosh. I know it sounds crazy, but I hang out with these people. We go swimming in November, and I didn't go in January because I got frostbite, but I did go in February. But yeah.
Down here in New York, they're called the Polar Bear Club.
Oh.
And they go in Coney Island.
Yes.
And they go, yeah.
Yep, well, that's me. I joined the polar bears in Chicago. We call ourselves the Shoal Sisters.
And you chose me 2025. She sent in some roses. That's wonderful.
Chose me 2025. Oh, yes. Thank you. Thank you for supporting our live. And a gift. Thank you. Yeah, let's see if she wants to come on. Oh, wait, it went away. Let's see. Yeah, so we're on here. This is TaMeriKan Tuesday, and we're talking about the connection between Kemet. Oh, thank you. Somebody joined my team. Kemet, oh, I know her. Yes, I know Sandwich. She's got really good content. I love you too, Sandwich. She's always talking about defeating Western imperialism and the church, and she's always supporting the Palestinians. She's really excellent. Yeah, if you have a chance, check her out.
I think that for us as a group of people to be so evolved, I never thought that I would see a day where we are still trying to exterminate people. It's just so unbelievably sad. And then, I don't feel helpless, but I know I'm very hopeful that this will end soon, because there's no way to live right now. Everyone is just depressed.
It has to end. It has to end. But we're the only ones that can end it. It's got to be the people. It's not going to be the government.
Absolutely.
It's going to be the people that are ready to change.
People just need to really realize, we really need to stop supporting what is happening with our dollars. Canada did it. We need to just go into because it's America. America is pushing everything. If Americans show the world that they are against this by a shutdown.
Yes, exactly. Yes. But I think that people in America are so comfortable with things. They don't want to let go of their conveniences. They're just afraid of living without their Starbucks or their Walmart,
Every time I see a Verizon or a phone company, an iPhone, anytime I see one of those commercials, all I think about is displaced people. I can't enjoy the product because I'm thinking about how much suffering this product being made is actually causing. I'm actually my heart just feels sad now when I see people lusting after materialism that is harming people across the way from us that look just like us.
Oh yes, exactly. And then I'm using the phone right now. It doesn't make me feel good. However, I did see a video of some people that said there's a company in Mexico that's making cell phones without cobalt.
Nice.
They're so fed up with what's going on in the Congo that they are developing another cell phone without cobalt. So that was encouraging.
I'm really proud of the incoming college students. They're all opting for old phones.
Yes.
They're all opting for I am so proud of these children. They said it will not be them. They are all opting for Blackberries and old flip phones.
Yes.
All the beepers and stuff. They are all opting
Yes.
for the old technology.
Yes.
And that makes me feel good
Yes.
because I understand that they understand
Right.
that we are the ones that that can stop this.
We have to stop it. I still have a lot of my old phones. I didn't throw them away. I said, you know, we're gonna need these because when things get really crazy with Wi-Fi, they're not gonna be able to track these phones. These are the only way we'll be able to communicate. We'll have to find somebody that knows how to hack them to get them to work, but they won't be able to track us. So
Choose me 2025. Chime in.
yes, come on, Joanne. We're talking about nation building and how to make the world a better place as us in this continent.
Thank you for your gifts.
And divine day, divine rise, ladies.
Thank
I am
you.
so glad to see you all on this platform speaking great things. I'm just glad to be alive and well today. So yes, I agree with the technology not being utilized or made by raw material that are harming our people. However, if we could go back to the original flip phones, Blackberries, beepers, I'm with you. I'm for it. Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. Well, all that takes is we just have to stop buying them. We just have to stop buying these other devices, you know, because they have people programmed to, as soon as it comes out, they're to get the next one. And like I mentioned earlier, there's some young people in Mexico that are building. I think they're selling them cell phones that are made without cobalt. And there's there's other ways. We got to think outside the box of Western imperialism. Like that's all that we know, basically. We were raised in it, but we can do more. We can do better, I believe. The technology and. I wasn't really into solar power until I found out that it's all made out of petroleum products, and the petroleum giants own the solar panel industry. So, you know, I got away from that for a while. But I know there's other ways. There's got to be other ways to communicate, to travel, to do commerce.
I'm pretty sure we could make the panels without having to use their materials.
Yeah. I saw somebody on TikTok. You can get electricity from fruit. Just put the wires in the fruit, the vegetables, and I saw someone making solar panels out of CDs, old CDs. You know, like recycled CDs. So you have to go out and produce more petroleum. It's there. We just need people that are willing to. You know, it's one thing to create it and have it on the market, but then you have to get people who are willing to buy it. You know, because people have to be educated. But it can happen. It can definitely happen. It's got to happen. I think one of our biggest challenges, though, is getting beyond tribalism and racism. You know, the technology is there, but changing people's minds is going to be a huge challenge for us because people are not fans of change. They're not fans of change, and it seems like they're not fans of the truth either. They're not fans of the truth, so.
I think we all get a little perturbed with this so-called truth because your truth is your truth sometimes, and my truth is my truth.
Yeah.
And I just had this conversation with ladies that were in a spiritual retreat, and it was just so amazing. We were going around and doing a little ice breaking, and they were saying it's so amazing how ladies or people we meet for the first time, and basically we're all anxious, we're weirded out, and we can tell our kids, the same thing. And I said, well, I think that word is called hypocrisy. Sometimes, we all are guilty of telling someone to do or how they can do, but we're not always aware of what we may not do. Even though we're preaching it, we may not be practicing. And so they got a little offended. Oh, I'm not a hypocrite. I'm not a hypocrite. And I was like, I'm not calling you the hypocrite. I'm just saying we as humans can fall into that situation. And that word that society uses is hypocrisy or hypocritical. So my truth was using that word at the time. They didn't like that truth, and they kind of perturbed them, made them a little bit edgy. So I had to learn from that, and you can't stop people, you can't make people see your truth only if they're open to that truth. So.
Yeah, this is true. You brought up a really good point.
Piggyback piggybacking on that, I think that's why we see so many of these people who are all in when confronted with anything. Not enough ketchup on their hamburger, not enough fries in their bag, and you see this big outburst of emotion, and you're like, that doesn't warrant. But then when you correlate that you're feeling slighted because you want to be an imperialist, so now all of these other things start to, you see when we say projection?
Yes.
I noticed that a lot of these people that are getting called, the K name, or the men who are getting called the K name, I noticed that when they're confronted with, why are you questioning someone, or why are you being in opposition, it's always coming from a place of fear.
That part.
There always seems so like, you guys don't like us, and nobody said anything, because we understand the difference between an individual and government. So I don't care what side you stand on, but I think we keep on failing when we start looking at people and addressing people with honor and respect. That's gone out the window.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. Yes, it has.
And just also, there is no big I's or little U's. We all are on a path of learning and journeying or rejourneying. I know I'm on a soul journey. I'm a sojourner. So
Yeah.
if I'm learning, and I'm in the South, I'm moving from DC to Tennessee, and for me to move here, and then, have friends all along the coast, the East Coast, as well as the West Coast, it's just like, oh my God, what did I do? I moved back into, I guess you would say, all the beautiful words of isms that you could say, but I just never thought that I would see so much ignorance and feel like, with my own people, the gatekeeping and what would we call it? Just the ism, and I know it comes from fear. When people don't understand, they attack. So if you're a big fish, so-called, in a small pond, or if you are a individual that is shining, or you've gone through hell and back, but you still wear a smile on your face, that's ill. That's ill to some people, and that's odd to some people. So they try to find some kind of way to diminish your light, but you have to work hard when you're the light within the darkness. Now, it's not like we don't have chaos nor darkness, because we do. And I had to learn to accept, okay, this doesn't make me feel good. Don't suppress it. But just understand that what they're doing is not, their projection is not truly who I am, or is not for me. That's their projecting their mess to make themselves feel a little bit better. But I had started taking it a little bit personally, because I was new to the area, and it was a new nuance, and I didn't know that people would just gatekeep and stop you, block you. But then again, I had to learn higher power, or the Most High had me being protected. It wasn't rejection. It wasn't, these people had power over me. God was protecting me from being in the midst of this type of spiritual warfare. So I had to move within myself to accept that and respect that and feel it and just let it go. So I had to learn over the years, and I thank God for this case study, with being here, and also just strengthening, because I had been in the military. I was a Marine, a soldier, and then I got injured. I got blowed up in Iraq, or going to Iraq. So I didn't have a lot of support when I moved down here. So it was a new everything. New everything.
Culture shock.
Paralysis, dyslexia, dyscalculia, dysgraphia. It was all God. And I just, for all the downloads, for all the ideas, for all the creativity, for all the support that God gave me, and I would do what I'm doing now on this live, on a phone. I would radio out for help. And that's how the Holy Ghost would bless me on the line, through frequency, through vibration from people on the other side of the line, to re-encourage me, to help me know that I was on the right path. So it wasn't anything wrong with me. I had to see that everybody's viewpoint, everybody's truth, and everybody's heart posture wasn't built like mine. this has been a real good, and I would love to be where you ladies are. I would love to be with you, not saying what you have or jealous or envious, nothing like that. I would love to be in a tribal environment where there was more of us awakened or activated mentality of people and heart postures.
Yeah.
But I see now God has me here for the sake that I wanted the environment to transform to me, I guess, or accept me. But I had to come here and transmute the atmosphere and adjust it, make it adjust to me. So
That's a
there
goddess.
we are. You know, you can't worry about walking into a room. I can't stand that B. I hate her. She's shining. Well, no, we can't hire you. You're overqualified. You have this. You've been there. You did that. And I just had to really accept, okay, this just is who I am, and this is by the grace of God that God built me.
You're just at a different frequency.
So
you're at a different frequency.
It is what it is. So I can't hate it. I can only embrace it. I can only accept it and just be every day. Just be and walk in whatever it was that the Holy Spirit had for me, you know, to walk daily. So it's been a great journey, and I'm ready to leave. I believe I'm being moved to leave. I don't know for sure, but you know, with the world being the way it is, you know, you can't walk and think and laugh, but you have to stay realistic. You know, if you can't afford it to be on the East Coast up north, Connecticut, you know, New York or Pennsylvania or wherever, you have to be where you have to be. And I would love to get with and I thought maybe you ladies would know, what is it, an is it cartologist?
I've heard about that, yes. To determine where you should be. Yes, I've heard about that.
Yes.
I'll write that down.
I learn how to read those lines on that map so I can be the best me, you know, the best altruistic version of myself. So
I'll look into that.
And I'm still moving and ready to continue to, you know, transcend and go farther in, you know, this higher journey of higher learning. So
okay,
thank you all for having me.
Thank you for sharing that and for reminding me of astrocartography.
My wonderful host.
Thank you, Sandwich. Thank you so much. I didn't want to interrupt, and thank you for typing for me there, Nitra.
Absolutely. If you look on the bottom of the phone that's hosting your TikTok live, there's 3 buttons at the side, or it might say effects, but the 3 buttons at the side. You want to hit the 3 buttons at the side, and you're going to see a panel that says settings.
Yeah.
If that comes up, there's a setting that says mirror your camera.
Yeah.
If you hit it, now it won't look like you're writing backwards. We'll be able to see how you're writing.
Oh, is it showing backwards now?
Yeah, the way you're writing it's backwards to us. But if you mirror your camera.
Yes. Okay. Yeah. Okay. I have to take off the mirror. There we go.
Hey, we did it.
Thank you. I have to remember to do that when I log in. Thank you so much. I'm sorry.
That's why we're here, supporting each other.
Okay. Yes. Thank you. I wanted to.
Williams.
Chosen. Thank you. Thank you, Kiki Williams. Thank you so much for your help, Nitra. I wanted to go back to, thank you for more love, Chosen. Your comment about the truth, how we all have our version of the truth. I remember when I came into that realization, you know, because we're all at different frequencies and we've all had different experiences and we've all studied different things. However, there is the truth. There is the truth.
Yes.
And according to the Hopi, the medicine wheel here, they say that in these days and times, the third shaking of the earth, the indigenous people of the 4 directions will come together and share the truth. And only then will we have peace, because right now everyone is fragmented.
Correct.
And so that's why I always go back to this wheel. You know, Nietzsche, right now I can't even type any comments. Like,
You're the host, so you probably won't have your comment section.
oh,
Yeah, probably
okay.
won't have your comment section.
Oh.
I'm a panelist. I'll be able to have comments. Choose me 2025 will be able to have comments, because we could also be acting as your moderators. So we would be able to speak in the chat. We would be able to move conversation along as your moderators. So we would be able to speak in the chat. We would be able to move conversation along as your moderators. So we would be able to speak in the chat. We would be able to move conversation along as your moderators.
It's on repeat. Oh, that's interesting. Okay. Well, thank you very much for that information. Like I said, I'm really new to this whole process. Yes, she did. She is muted. That's why it's so interesting. Okay. Yeah. So we talked about there is the fundamental truth in all things, and we only see parts of it. So that's why we need one another, I suppose, so we can bounce ideas off of each other and inspire one another and actually get to the truth. But I know for now, I'm sure it's for each one of you, but when I see something, if it's true, it resonates with me a certain way. And I think this is what I was getting ready to talk about earlier with the Neterian tradition. With the Neterian tradition, where some people would say Kemet, but I don't limit it to one location or time. As Neterian, we follow the Neters. Like her name is Nitra. It reminds me of Netaru. Oh man, I lost my train of thought. Just that fast.
We're here.
Okay. Well, anyway, I was talking about the Neters and how we're going to learn to use them to manifest and create. That was basically what I was trying to get to. Learning how to use them in our manifestations. And what was she talking about that made me think of that? Truth coming together, different people. Well, I don't know. It's gone. Anyway, we have to find a way for these different tribes. And, oh, I know what it was. You were talking about the people in your community, and what I was saying was you're just at a different frequency than they are. They're at a different frequency. Oh, now I remember. And when you follow the Neters in the Kemetic tradition, you have Ma'at is in the heart. Everyone has this because these are cosmic forces of nature. Everything in creation has this inner knowing of truth and goodness and righteousness. And because people are conditioned by different religions or governments or tribes, they are closed to that inner knowing. And that's why the tradition I was raised in is the Shatau Nectar is hidden divinity. Everyone has this ability. But if you're in a tradition that closed your eyes or lowered your frequency, or you're spiritually enslaved, then you won't find it. You won't find it in yourself. And if you can't find it in yourself, you can't find it in other people. Oh, the Celestine Prophecy. Yes, I've read that book too. I've read that book.
That's exactly what you're saying to her. Because those people were able to transcend and move away from these people who were trying to harm them because they were just vibrating on a different energy. She's vibrating on a different energy, and because she's so brilliant, they don't know what to make of her. So of course, the first thing, when somebody doesn't know what to make of it, they want to try to attack it and subdue it.
Yes, or they ignore it altogether. They don't acknowledge it.
Yes, very true.
Yeah, and so then when that happens to an individual, then you, like what you were saying, you start to think there's something wrong with, like, well, must be wrong, something wrong. Like my ex-husband would always say, what is wrong with you? And then I would sit there and try to figure it out, like, what is wrong with me? And then after years and decades in therapy, it's like, well, you know what? There's nothing wrong with me. There's just something wrong with the world. Like, this is how we're supposed to be. We're supposed to be. And it's nothing wrong with us. It's just the environment that we're in. And like you, if you leave the environment that you're in, choose me, 2025, you won't be able to have the impact on the environment that you're in. Like you were sent there to shine your light to help raise the vibration of where you're at.
Correct.
Yeah. I for years I thought I was going to leave America and move to Mexico or Brazil and just live in anonymity there. Just get a stand and sell things to tourists. And I realized that's really not what I want to do. I really just want to travel. I don't want to go anywhere and just be there for the rest of my life. Because I believe our ancestors, at least in this continent, I've seen documentaries, I've seen movies where we're just always traveling. We go here for the summer, we go here in June, we go, the blueberries are exceptional at this time of year, so we'll go here. And the strawberries are, really something over here. And in the Quechua tradition in Peru, they had a festival, let's see if I can, well, it's another circle. We can just go back to this image, it's a circle. And every, draw more lines, but every place on this circle, it was a family that had a festival, and they always honored the sun. And so you were always just traveling to different locations for different ceremonies. And the Lakota have a similar thing with the Black Hills, which mirrors the sacred hoop in the sky, which is the constellations of Orion, Canis Major, and Gemini. We were always traveling. They had a foot race, and they traveled along this path, and it mirrored the motions in the stars. And that's really how I would prefer to live, is just following the Milky Way. When it's this season, I go here. When it's that season, I go there. And then you're always learning from each other. You're not just stuck in your village, your whole life, and you don't ever meet other people. I know people that they never leave their village. Like I was saying, the reservation where my home in California is, a really small town. They've never been out of that town, ever. So I just wanted to add that about the frequencies. Oh, the Dogon have a similar ritual. Yeah, so I believe if we follow the stars and we follow nature, we'll get to the truth. But if we just keep following the celebrity stars on Earth or whatever, we're not going to get to the truth. It's just more arguing.
That disillusion has happened, right?
What's that?
That disillusion has happened. The grimoire of celebrity.
Oh, yes, that's happening, yes.
That veil has come down. But I always, what disappoints me with us is that we have the power to build and level certain things. We've seen it on this platform.
Yeah.
I'm very disappointed that everybody, and these people are still taking money, because why would you allow them to make that young man, although horrific his actions were, why would you make him the face of this when we know Jeffrey Epstein was unalive because he had the flight charts for all of the people who are in Senate and our representatives who went over to that island? So why would we put it on the celebrities now when we know it's the politicians? You see, so being that they are all up for election this year, this was shameful. This was shameful that everybody went after this young man, and yes, rightfully so, but everybody and their mother, when Trump was president, had an ankle bracelet on. Everybody. So for you not to call Oprah in the same breath, for you not to call all these other people in the same breath, and you're going here like it's tunnel vision, you're still being played by the very people who are controlling what's happening now. So we really need to educate and be more. Yeah. Because they say, oh, this is the arguing point. This is the arguing point. And we accept it. There is not one post. And I am on a blog for 18 years. I have been on this platform for 4. I have been on IG for another maybe about black men and black women not loving each other, because that is a farce.
Yes.
That is a farce. Through slavery, our union is what got us through the Middle Passage.
Yeah, well,
If it happened here, if it happened going across the ship, our union is what kept us alive. For us right now, this generation and the progeny, for us to be here to even have this conversation, our union together is what got us to this point, us loving on each other. So I don't understand how anybody could come to you and say, you know, you guys really don't like black women. Because whatever has happened to black women in relationships has happened wholeheartedly to our Caucasian counterparts before us.
Yes.
People getting married and people taking all the money. People getting married, having children, and taking the children away. That has happened to our Caucasian sisters way before it started happening to us.
well, that's because we were influenced by that Western imperialism and Caucasity. I don't think we were doing that before. I don't think so.
Why are we learning? We learned that the whole feminism movement was to get the black women and the women out of the house so they could have another group of people to tax.
Yes.
Once you learn that, wouldn't you say our next generation, we will not spew this gossip to them? We will not spew this hatred? I can't stand to see a 22-year-old African-American woman say, the most unprotected woman is the black woman. I can't stand it. I can't stand it. One time she was on a panel with me and she was about to say it. I said, don't even finish the sentence. Because we are the ones who are perpetuating this gossip, this venom to each other. This must stop. This should have stopped with my grandmother.
I don't think it's going to stop. It's not going to stop until we let go of these values that we've inherited. I mean, we've got to get back.
150%.
We've got to get back to our own ways. Or if you don't want to get back to the own ways, then create something. Create something.
Because I want this next 30 years, I want the child that's being born today for the next 30 years that they never even know what inferiority complex is. I do not want them to have televisions in their home. If television is going to perpetuate that one group of people are better than the other.
Yes.
I want our parents to really start to safeguard these children, because the supremacy theory is to damage the brain at a young age.
Yes.
So you are handicapped the rest of your life.
Yes, you're absolutely right. And all the things that they're doing to destroy life by separating man and woman so they won't have children, and then allowing people to cut off their body parts and doing things to them so that they can raise children, those are anti-life, against life. And it's not just the politicians, it's not just the media, it's what's running all of that. And that's why I always say boycott every multinational corporation. That whoever owns them, that is what's controlling all of these other arms and factions.
We have so much proof that these kinds of organizations, NGOs, are not what they say they are. We have proof. It's like, this is why we don't have news anymore, because just the other day a UN truck tipped over, and what came out? Not medical supplies, but gold.
Oh, wow.
Oh.
Gold came out. So we need to, we can't be the smartest people in the world and the dumbest people in the world at the same time. We just cannot hold that space.
Yeah, no,
It's not working.
well, the UN is not what it appears to be either. That's just it. We keep going to these institutions expecting them to behave like human beings, and they're just not. They don't behave like human beings.
Different agendas. They all have different agendas, and when you are being funded by someone who's an oligarch and they want the playing field to look a certain way, that's when you need to stand up. This is when we need to, and this is wholeheartedly in the hands of the black women right now. Because I only hear black women. No, I know Caucasian women. I saw a post today. They said, we're not saying anything. We're going to say what we need to say at the voting booth. Because we're no longer arguing with people.
Yeah. Well, I'm at the point now where it's got to be human beings. We can't just keep, I know several what we would call European descendants who would be right here fighting with us, right here. And I know several what we would call Black or African Americans who will not.
Yes.
They will not come, and they're not even welcome here. They're not even welcome in my space. And so, and if we've got to get past that construct. We're human beings. Like, humanity is being exterminated. It doesn't matter what color it is. Humanity is being exterminated.
On a lot of levels that people are not aware of. On a lot of levels.
Yes.
Because people are coming to you and saying, oh, we care about your community. Here are these seeds. And these seeds are GMO seeds.
Oh, yeah.
You understand
Yes.
what I'm saying? So you have to really be, we can't afford to be simple. We cannot afford not to be doing our research.
No.
We cannot afford to.
And we can't be afraid to set boundaries. Boundaries. Like, my boundary is no Western imperialism, no religious indoctrination, nothing that came with the colonizers. That's not welcome in my that's my boundary. Everyone has to set boundaries, and it can't be personal. Like, oh, well, this person so it's okay. It's like, no, it's not okay. It's not okay. If you're coming at me like that, like, for instance, we were having a medicine wheel ceremony to honor the indigenous people of the 4 directions, and my partner, my colleague that was running the circle with me, came into the circle and started quoting the Bible and praising Jesus. And I said, that's not going to work. We're done. And that was the end. That's a boundary that I had to set. Because if we really want to break free of Western imperialism, we can't.
We've seen 3 generations of people trying to live by this book. And it doesn't matter if you were in the church, out the church, next to the church, when they wanted to come upside your head, it's because you looked a certain way. They did not care if you were a pastor. They just put a pastor in jail, up under the jail, because they wanted some lakeside property that he had. So they concocted a story, and here's our pastor, a man of the cloth, locked up in jail as if he's a criminal, because what? We can't play fair.
Yeah, that's it. They're ignorant to the divine in their own being. That's it right there. They're ignorant. That's ignorant of the divine. That's what's wrong with people. They just are brainwashed. And then they're mad at you if you come at them with something else. So I don't know how we're going to move past that.
And what I've learned here is, if you're not in that clique, that's where you get the most of an attack from the members or the parishioners or whomever. They're the ones who judge you so harshly, because I have been evangelizing the word many years, and I think that was the other big issue after I got the concussion. And then family, they're the ones who taught me this, word or whatever. And then to see them not live by it, and then to move here and to see you can't remember scripture. So since you can't quote, that means you're not a woman of the cloth. And I'm looking like, huh? So the judgment from that church, and also we want you to be all in. And if you're not all in with the money, at the time I'm disabled at the time, but I'm still hustling, as we would say. But I was just trying to find a way to take care of my family. But either way, now you're not a part of the clique, because you're not putting monies in the pot that they believe you should be putting there to represent your part in the church. Well, I'm like, it's still many members and one body, but what happens when I'm in need? If I'm going through my migraines, or if my daughter with cerebral palsy is going through and I have to be there for her, who's there for me? Nobody. So I was just like, oh God, you're right. Yeah. So the Holy Spirit had to show me, you're connected to the source. And as long as you got me and I got you,
right, exactly.
It doesn't matter what they think. It doesn't matter what they say. So you just continue to do what I have you to do. But that church, if you're not in it for the money, or you're not giving that money, it's all about money. I think that's what it is. It's so political.
And
it's so you know.
And then they condition you.
Anywhere that you can, there's power,
Yes.
absolute power corrupts absolutely.
Yes, that's it right there.
So when we saw, look how short-lived those reality shows were about the lives of the pastors. Because once you saw the pastor with his little shishi foo-foo dog in his arms, listen, they were walking around with fur-lined shoes, and I'm not saying you shouldn't have fur-lined shoes, but if every last one of your parishioners don't have fur-lined shoes, I don't know why you got fur-lined shoes on. And then now you in a mansion, but the parishioners who are giving you their little tidings are living in hovels. They are living with landlords that are slumlords. But you're not even using the wealth of the church, the backing of the church, the standing of the church to stand with them in court.
Yeah, that's right.
You're not even coming in and saying, come on, community, let's go help sister so-and-so and let's renovate her home because she's been living there all her life. Now she's elderly and the house is breaking down around her.
Well, institutions work so that they can get more money to keep them going. They're just like doctors. They don't want you to be well. They don't want you to be enlightened. They don't want you to be free because then you won't be around to give them money. I had that experience with a spiritual temple. You know, I was supposed to be the temple musician, but they weren't willing to help me survive as a musician. They just wanted me to keep paying them every month so I could be a member. But they were saying that me wanting to be compensated for my music was my ego, and me wanting to help people was my ego. And I was like, but that's what you're doing. I'm trying to do what you're doing. You're helping people through your writings, and you're helping people through your teachings. And so it's different. It's them and us.
Double standards.
Yeah, double standards. Double standards. Exactly. That's it exactly. So.
It's funny how that gaslights you. They're working strictly out of ego, and they're going to turn around and look at you and go, you in your ego.
Yeah. And it took me.
You know what that looks like because you're in your ego.
And it took me a while to figure it out. I was like, well, something's wrong with me. Me wanting to help people is my ego. So it took me a while because I really trusted these people. I believed them, and I appreciated all the help that I got from them. And it took me a long time to just walk a step away. Just like, you know what, that's not me. I'm not them. I'm not in their tribe. We read the same books. We do the same yoga postures, but we're not in the same tribe. It's simple. So.
Well, how about them saying that you're a people pleaser because you have the will and the heart of God, you want to see God's people. Okay, I said people pleaser. Where is that coming in at? I'm like, well.
I know. I don't know. I left. I left. I still honor them. I still respect them. But I'm just like what does that guy say? I'm not like them. They're not like me.
They're not like us.
No, they're not like us. That's it. So, well, ladies, I'm so glad that we were able to communicate today. I have got to move on to the next thing on my list for today.
This was amazing. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you for stopping by and teaching me about having live streams. Thank you for all of you who are tuning in right now. I'm about to tune out, and all the wonderful gifts that I received today, and just learning from you all was really special for me. So thank you so much, and I look forward to joining you all soon. And I'll be back tomorrow for Wellness Wednesday, and we're talking about health and astronomy and sound healing. So. Sorry, it's there we go. I was saying I'll be back tomorrow at this time for Wellness Wednesday. We'll be talking about astrology, sound healing, herbalism, wellness, healing tools, just things like that. And then Thursday, it's Neterian Devotion. We're talking about different Neteru, basically the cosmic, how to create using the cosmic forces of nature. So once again, thank you so much for joining me on TaMeriKan Tuesday, and I'll see you soon. One love. Hotep.
One love. Hotep.
Thank you. All right. So I don't know if anyone's still. Yeah, some people are still here. I hope you enjoyed that conversation. I'll be going to live again tomorrow and Thursday Tomorrow's Wellness Wednesday, so I'll be on the Life Being Wellness platform. Thursday, Neterian Devotion. I'll probably be on the Kemetic platform. I'm trying to go live on all three. Oh no, I can't go live on Life Being Wellness yet, so I'll be going, the Wellness and the Neterian Devotion will be on the Kemetic channel. Thank you so much. Dua Hatep.